Hello, everybody. Continue, of course, eating. We are having and I hope you're enjoying your conversations with other people at the table. I would like to now bring up Kurt Orman to introduce our guests and visitors.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Good? Good? I have some questions that if anybody has an answer, please raise your hand. A group of 7 tough questions. First one is, why does rain drop and snow fall? Second one, what disease did cured ham have? Third one, what is the difference between unique and very unique? We put in our 2 cents for our thoughts, but a penny for, oh, wait a minute. We put in our own 2 cents, but a penny for our thoughts. Who gets the second penny? And the last one I like the best. When do you become important enough to be considered assassinated and not just murdered? Okay, John Cunning, would you like to introduce Frank Riviera? Where are you, John boy? All right. He's chewing a steak just like I was when I got announced to get up here. Frank, let me talk to you.
I introduced Frank 2 weeks ago, and
he came back with you?
Came back. He asked to come to Rotary. I think he's happy to be here. So
that's a key word, folks. For visitors, that means I want to join.
Say, engineer, an environmental engineer. He's been in Colorado Springs about 15 years. Very glad to be with us.
Those are the key words.
Key words, yeah. And that's about all I have to say, except he made himself well known. Sometimes he wears a necktie and sometimes a red shirt. So I'd like for you to...
You know, John, just as long as he wears a shirt.
Well, yeah, by the way, I forgot, he's my son-in-law. So welcome, Frank Rivera. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you. Welcome, Frank. And nice job, John. Let's see. Lynn, you want to introduce Cindy? Where's Lynn? Oh, there she is back there.
That's all right. This is my friend and neighbor, Cindy Alexander. She adopted me pretty much when I moved to Colorado Springs and has shown me all the good places to go, introduced me to lots of people and social events. So I'm very thankful for her friendship, not just because of that, because she's also a good friend. Anyhow, Cindy is an Army veteran as well as spent her entire career launched from her time in the Army and the FAA. She at one point controlled the Denver airspace, so which she has educated me was a really big airspace. I can't remember all the boundaries, but it's really big, includes Colorado Springs. And when she retired, she was managing the FAA's Cleveland Operations Center.
All right, Lynn, thank you. Yeah. Welcome, Cindy. And we have 2 steel persons here. We'll say Kelly Steele, first one. And would you tell us about yourself, Kelly? Hang on, the microphone's coming. This guy's real slow because he's real old.
Hi, I'm Kelly Steele. This is probably my sixth or seventh time here. I'm a lawyer from Iowa and a financial advisor from Iowa, and got engaged at the top of the incline on June 3rd. And
What?
Um,
Really?
yeah, so hopefully next year we'll have some nuptials, I think they're called. So yeah, and I'm officially joined. Okay? I'm in the process of joining, so I got orientation Monday. Thank you very much.
Kelly, did you run up to get engaged, or did you walk up to get engaged?
Well, this particular time, we walked up because there was a storm that came in, and so we were delayed a couple hours. So we went to Amanda's Fonda, the Mexican restaurant,
Great restaurant.
had margaritas and chips. So we went really slow up the incline.
Thank you and welcome. Amanda's Fonda is a great restaurant on the edge of Manitou Springs. We were there just a couple of days ago. Go there. It's great food and a great atmosphere, and they sit outside if it's a nice day. So another one. Now I have a second Steele person here. This is Deanna Steele, and I'm introducing her with a couple of wild facts about her. Diana has had 18 children. Does she get a hand? It was 10 girls, and she's still alive. She's a financial planner and a person that helps executives hire new folks, travels the United States, has been doing that for a number of years. And I will let her tell you about how many times she's had to say something to 18 children. Tell us about those.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Kurt. Yeah, so 11 boys, 7 girls, and it just has been a wild ride as a single mom. I had one birth child who didn't like being an only kid. So, Mom, can we just buy me a brother? And the next thing we know, we had 17 more. So it was a little crazy. But
These are kids that needed help,
yeah,
were adopted and by her. And doesn't that deserve a hand? I mean, that is mercy, mercy. You
well, I
bet.
will just say quickly that I took the skills from organizing all those kids. And for the last 25 years, I've applied them to working with CEOs and business owners and nonprofit leaders. And I'm not a financial planner. I'm an executive advisor to those CEOs. I have clients all around the country. And now that I'm an empty nester, I can travel. So love that too. And she has an application. So I'll
All
see
right.
you guys again. Thank you.
Deanna Steele, let's give her a hand.
Thank you so much, Kurt. Now we move to recognizing birthdays. And we have a birthday boy here. He had his birthday earlier this week. Jack Gotter, happy birthday. And then we have 2 Rotary anniversaries. Dennis Shoemaker is actually the shortest of the 2 at 27 years. And Greg Moore is at 30 years. So congratulations. I wanted to thank the people who helped at this meeting today. And please make sure you sign up and help. We really can't run these meetings without you. And so I'd like to thank Lorene Grosso for cashier, registration Sam Chapman, greeter Chris Fakir, and Jim Munt. And then words of inspiration, Jordan Fontaine, visitor and guest check-in, Kurt Orman, and song leader, thank you, Mike McGrath. We appreciate that. I just wanted to say that flight was wonderful, and I wanted to thank all the club members who supported this event. special thanks to Tina Dewey and the flight committee for their tireless efforts this year. The success of this year's flight and our ability to financially support our service projects would not be possible without you, so we are really grateful. And now I get the opportunity, if I would like to bring Jordan Fontaine up and Lorene Grosso. And is Misty here? She's not. Okay. We have a red badge presentation for Lorene Grosso. So great. So we have the red badge. So now you're official. Welcome. And then we have the Rotary Challenge coin and a certificate that shows. Thank you. And congratulations and welcome to the club. And everybody, please make a point to get to know Lorene. We're so excited that she's here. Now I'd like to recognize Cody for a very short presentation about current service projects.
Oh, good afternoon. This weekend, we have the final sorting event for the Ukraine Letter Project. If you do want to join me, we're going to be meeting at the Penrose Library downtown. It'll be from 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock. Definitely feel free to come out. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be me and the program director. So if you do want to join, we'll be going through all of the tickets or all of the letters. And then coming up in October, we're going to be doing a couple of events for World Polio Day. But I did want to get some gauge on one of the events. We'll be attempting to sell stickers for $1 each. But I wanted to see if anybody in the room really had interest in that. If you would want to sell to other people, or if you would be interested yourself. Because I haven't got a lot of interest. So if not, I don't think we'll be doing that. But we do have a Pennies for Polio, and then the World Polio Day. I have an event coming up. We're going to be trying to work with Sasquatch Cookies, Joey's Pizza, and a bar right in the same area. If they're all willing to do $1 off, or $1 goes to our Polio Day, that'd be really great. So I'll have some more updates for that once we have the okay from everybody. But keep an eye out for that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now I'd like to recognize John Kaufman for an update on international service projects.
Thank you, Kay. Just an update. On Monday, we get our check. The check's in the mail. $80,000 from the Minnesota Prior Lake Rotary Club through a program-related investment, which is funding 2 water purification enterprise installations in Kenya. We leave on October 23rd. This week, if you want to go, come and see me. October 23rd through November 4th, 2 different Maasai villages. Guatemala is January 5th to 11th. I'll have registration packets for you next week if you're interested in that. We're putting in 3 water installations, 3 water purification installations in Guatemala. Fun trip. There's an active volcano we can go see if you're into that. I am. I think it's fun. And finally, if you would consider coming to the district conference in Avon, we're going to have an exploratory committee forming at that for a district conference, for a district-wide concert to be held hopefully every year, called Rocktoberfest Colorado, hosted by Rotary Clubs of Colorado. Our entire district would get involved. So we're looking for engagement on that, with the hope to raise $500,000 of funds to be used on international projects. Thank you.
Very exciting. Thank you so much, John. Please reference the information on your tables regarding the upcoming events. And now I'd like to recognize Trevor to introduce our program for today.
Got a lot of content here, Trace, on his introduction. I'll skip a bit. All right. So Trace, his background is in digital media production, website development, programming, and system administration, including being a database programmer for F-16 maintenance for the Air Force. He's entertained in over 40 states, 17 foreign countries, and in the 80s, he spent nearly 2.5 years performing for USO shows in hundreds of military installations throughout the world. 97, he adapted the entrepreneurial one-man empire paradigm to the entertainment field and subsequently was awarded the 2001 Best of Denver by Westward. And was it John Denver and who else are the other one? And Dave Matthews are the only other entertainers who've received that from Denver. So as a professional speaker, Trace focuses on personal and professional transformation necessary to stay relevant in a changing world. And some of his interesting achievements would include being part of the Prometheus Society worldwide, which is the 99.997th high IQ society. So he's kind of a dummy, which Trace rocks.
Hello. Well, thanks for having me. My name is Trace. Rocks is just kind of like what I do. So your life. Ready for you guys. So but anyway, I need to record. Let me get this going. Just one thing. Go. Good audio. It's in at our and I wasn't just a little kid to this whole thing. So someday all this listen to this and Van Halen or something. Terry Kath was the man, you know, he was, so he started, I started listening to the Chicago album and hearing this guitar is like, wow, I've never heard anybody play guitar like this. I was learning, you know, I was doing Dick Dale and the Ventures and surf music and Beach Boys, you know, that's what was in. And then all of a sudden this guy comes in, listen to this guitar playing with this horn section. And it's just, I listened to that record and right then I knew this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I was just like, I knew I found it. This was my calling. So I spent years and years practicing, trying to learn to play guitar like Terry Kath. And this was back before there was internet lessons or anything like that. So it's like getting the record, dropping it on, trying to figure out what is this sound we're hearing? So that was my big idea, was like, I have to play guitar like this guy And I want to be in a band like this. This is just fantastic. Hearing these horns playing with the guitar, it's like, this is a new sound. This is just fantastic. So by the time I was 16, I went and auditioned for this band who was like a 9-piece horn band. And I was living in Utah, which was like a real backwoods place. Not much entertainment. Nobody was really into the arts or anything like that. So it was very difficult to get the inspiration. But there was this one band that they were a 9-piece horn band, some really good players, a couple people, the bass player and the trombone player went and played with Frank Zappa later, which, is really, if anybody's a musician, the level you had to be to play with that weird guy. He was, he was just a weird guy, but boy, what a musician. And so I went to audition for this, and they were playing in a basketball arena. I'm 16 years old with my guitar. I walk into this 17,000 seat arena, and they're on the floor with this huge PA, and just like, I was so intimidated. It's like, I can't do this. And I'm back talking to the sound man back at the boards, and this is just ridiculous. These guys are all in their mid-20s. They're all, listen to them. I'm still in high school. I just barely got my driver's license. And he said, look, you're here. Put your guitar on and go up. Get up there. So I went up, put my guitar in, went up and auditioned for him, and I got the job. So, so I ended up playing with the band of my dreams when I was like 16 years old. Ended up, I was the youngest, so we were playing all the basketball games. We were the pep band for the basketball games, and they were really popular. And I guess it's not too hard to be the best band in a place like Utah, but we were the best band in Utah. So we ran with it. And I was the youngest, so they were waiting for me to graduate so we could go on the road. So I had all my bags packed, everything was gone. I had my high school graduation, went to this graduation party. So I'm partying with my friends. I look up, the band's walking through the door. It's like, what is this? And they said, yeah, we went to your house. We picked up all your stuff. Get in the van. We got to go. So I left Utah on the night of my graduation. I didn't even make it till the next morning. I left that night. So, and we ended up touring all over the world, and a bunch of young kids. So we basically screwed up everything you could possibly screw up. We actually got chased out of Montana. We had a police escort out of Montana. We're playing 3 or 4 nights. Well, we were there for 2 weeks. We were supposed to be there for 2 weeks. And we'd played 3 or 4 nights in this place, Cut Bank, Montana. It's like clear on the Canadian border. So Friday or Saturday rolls around. We start playing, we come in with this, probably opening with Tower of Power or some big horn thing, and there's this old cowboy guy sitting right in the front table. And he stands up, looks at us, picks up his hat, throws it at the speakers, and we're like playing. It's like, well, this is interesting. So then he walks up, and this was back in the days when the lighting systems were like 1,000 watt incandescent lights, and we had just racks and racks of them. So it was like a microwave oven up there. And we'd use like gigawatts of power just for our light system, way before LEDs or anything like that came out. So he grabs a handful of cables, pulls out this big buck knife, and starts hacking on the cables. And I'm like 10 feet away from him, playing like, oh, this is a nice welcome. And all the lights go out, everything's frying. It's like, I smell barbecue. Anybody smell barbecue? They got the lights turned back on. This guy spot welded himself. He grabbed our 240 volt main line and hacked into it and spot welded himself to the cable. So he died. He was dead. He was laying there like stuck to the cables. Well, it turns out the guy was like the big rancher guy that employed like 80% of the town. So suddenly this whole town is thinking we're unemployed. We'd have no living now. And the police, they all interviewed us and stuff. And they said, you guys need to get out of town. And there's all these guys in their trucks just waiting to kill us. And so we got driven out of Wyoming all the way down to, I think, like the Idaho border with like a police escort. highway patrol escorts. So that's just some of the crazy things you end up in this crazy world. But I thought I'd play a song here that's like I said, this was my very first Guitar Hero, and I wore out at least a dozen records trying to learn to play like Terry Kath. So I'll play you, and the age of the audience this is about right. So I think everybody remembers Chicago. Hey, I'm there myself, so. Waiting for the break of day, searching for something to say. Flashing lights against the sky. There's something you don't hear every day from a public speaker, huh? Yeah, I'm just kind of starting on this new career phase of mine where I'm going to be doing, keynote speeches and working music in. So I just think that's a field that is in desperate need of some entertainment value. So, and speaking of entertainment value, right after that band broke up, I went to college. I got into another miracle. I got into Berklee College of Music in Boston, which was from a kid from Utah, was just, unheard of. And that was an eye-opening experience because I'd been playing since I was 6 years old. I had a teacher that was actually in the Beach Boys that was coming to my house every week. He was replaced by Glenn Campbell, actually, when they the Beatles landed and the Beach Boys said, we have to be the best band in the world. And they fired all their musicians and hired all these, the best hotshots in the world to compete with the Beatles. So my teacher was the guy that was in the Beach Boys before Glenn Campbell was doing all their studio recordings. So I really had a advantageous start. And I was playing my whole life, until I, got out of high school and went to Berklee and, excuse me. No warm up, sing the highest song possible after a big heavy steak dinner with no warm up. But when I first got to Berklee, I was a young kid, hot shot, the child prodigy that could play anything. And they gave you numbers for 3 different ratings for 3 different musical skills. And on guitar, it happened to be your chords and improvisation and sight reading. Those are the 3 they judged you on. And you got a rating from 1 to 9 in each one of those categories. So I was accepted to school, and the first thing they do at school is they send you through the rigors and you play all this stuff, and then they give you a rating that determines what classes you go into. So I got my ratings, 111, the absolute lowest ratings you could possibly get. It's like, how did this happen? It's like, I've been playing my whole life. It's like this is somebody else's score. Somebody made a mistake here. So there's lines and lines of practice rooms, soundproof practice rooms with a little wall, a little door, a little window in the door. And so I'm all depressed. I walk into this guy. It's like, hear this guy playing guitar in this little room. It's like, wow, this is the best guitarist I've ever heard. Who plays like that? And then go down to the next one. This guy's even better. Go down to the next one. This guy's better than both of those. And then also it's like, I am the very worst guitarist in the whole school. These guys are just amazing. So I managed to survive. I got through my 4 years, got my degree. And then I got out, and my dad was in the aerospace industry. And I wanted to be an astronaut so bad growing up. That's all I ever wanted to be, was an astronaut. And I studied so hard, had all the science, had all the math, had everything I needed. And I read so much, my eyes lost it. My eyes went away, like when I was in high school. So I was like, well, I just got washed out. So I can't pursue my dream. I was too big to be an astronaut anyway. They were having little tiny guys were in it. So that losing that dream, it's like, well, I still want to do something. So I joined this band. We had 2 female singers in the band, and I pushed for us to go do USO tours. So we spent about 2.5 years traveling all around the world, because it was just like the best way I could possibly think of giving back to my country, to play for these servicemen. They were out in the middle of nowhere with no entertainment, and some of the best shows I ever played in my life were playing to like 13 people out in the middle of nowhere that hadn't had entertainment for a year, that were just asking what the TV shows were doing. It's like, we were lucky to get a newspaper here once every 6 months. So we went and saw some fantastic places. Went to Johnston Island, which isn't even there anymore, which at the time was all the storage for all the stuff we weren't supposed to have. So all the nuclear weapons, all the biological stuff, all the chemical weapons, all the really nasty stuff was on this atoll. And it was the second most remote place on Earth, which was, it was like 1,100 miles southwest of Hawaii, just out in the middle of nowhere. There was one island that was more remote than that somewhere. I can't remember what it was, but we played down there, and that was just a fantastic experience. seeing all this stuff. And the whole island was about the size of maybe 2 aircraft carriers. And you could see water on 3 sides, no matter where you were. It was only like 7 feet above sea level was the altitude of the place, elevation. And we're flying there. So we're in I think we flew jet there. I think it was a 141. So we're in a military jet facing backwards. And this guy comes up to me, like, get out of your seat, come here. Hands me a shaving kit. It's like, you have to shave. So, says, we're just in the band, you know, we're not military or anything. I just had like a scruffy 3-day. He says, no, you have to shave because you're going to have to wear a gas mask when we land, and you can't break the seal. So anybody with like a couple of days of stubble, they made shave before we landed, and then they handed you a kit and had a gas mask on. We had to test it and do this banana gas around it to see if you could smell bananas. And we had 3 auto injectors that you had to carry with it, and you had to learn which klaxon went off. And you'd jab yourself with the first one, then the second sound, third one, then you'd stick it in your lapels so they could find out how far they got when they find your body, I guess. So, but that place is totally gone now. They scraped it off, clear down to the bedrock, and there's not a trace of anything left there. That I guess they scraped it off into the ocean. And we just had so many phenomenal places we played like that. We played in Greenland. There was a Marine base actually in the north end of Greenland where we were staying in these Quonset huts, and the Marines came with a acetylene torch and actually cut the end off the building trying to get to our girls. so we're in there. It's like, what's that noise? They say, oh yeah, we got guard station and everything. We're like, do you see that? I see a light. So pretty wild stuff. But I'll do one song that this was one of our greatest hits. Everybody had to hear this song while they were out there. Just can't think of the band. This seems kind of strange. I'm going to play, we're an American band, even though I'm a one guy, but actually I'm a band. Everything you hear in here, I play every instrument on. So I go into the recording studio and I play real drums, real keyboards. So every note on every song I do is all me playing the different instruments. So as Bob and Doug McKenzie would say, I guess I am a band, eh? Take off, you hoser. There's a blast from the 70s for you. Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. All right. I can do that one too, though, if we need to. I think there was. Yeah. No, it was 4 young Chiquitas. It was four girls were waiting for him in the hotel room. You know, that was back in the groupie days when things, you know, I remember those days. I used to get lots of groupies in the 80s, but now all my groupies are in their 80s. So it's just not the same. And that's who Sweet Sweet Connie was. She was one of the groupies, one of the famous ones that every band knew him. She was one of the ones that almost famous that they made the movie out of. So all right, well, I'll do a little bit of guitar nerd stuff here since I've told you some crazy stories. This one's just about getting equipment together and finding the right tools to do your job. I found this guitar like 25 years ago. I first started dating this girl. We were together 24 years, but when I first started dating her, I was playing downtown next to Coors Field. The Coors Field just opened up, and they said, so we were playing right next door to it for all the baseball games that were just starting. And I needed some guitar picks. So she goes, I got to go down, and she was with me. So we go to Guitar Center. It's like, I just need some picks for the show. You know, we're in a big hurry here. And she's saying, you got to play guitar. It's like, no, I don't need to play guitar. I got 30 guitars. I don't need to play guitar. I need to get some picks and get to the show. No, you're here. You got to do this. So she made me play this guitar. They said, yeah, we've got this new guitar that's brand new. We've never seen anything like it. So they brought it out. I played one chord on it. It's like, oh my God. It's like, I got to buy it. I've never seen anything like this. It's made out of Kevlar. So it's like bulletproof in case anybody wants to shoot at me, which comes in handy once in a while. But it's only about 1/4 inch thick. So they had to design special pickups to go in this. A normal guitar pickup doesn't fit. So I'm loving the guitar. It's like, God, please, like, it's just fantastic. But the sound wasn't quite there from what I was used to. And then I saw a video of Eddie Van Halen playing this exact same guitar when it first came out. And, you know, he had a signature guitar, so he had to play, that because he sold 1 million of them with his name on it and made millions and millions of dollars. But he was talking in an interview, said, I love this guitar, but I didn't like the pickups. I didn't like the sound of it. So I had my pickup designer that he's used forever that built hand wired all the pickups in the guitars. He said, I had him hand wire some pickups for this guitar. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I found the guy's name and I searched him down. He's still alive. And I had to make 2 pickups for this guitar, the same exact ones he made for Eddie Van Halen. So, so I'll do show you what this thing sounds like in full Van Halen mode. Well, there's a lifetime of chasing equipment and learning and practicing just to get good enough to play that song when suddenly nobody plays guitar solos anymore. So it took a lifetime to get that irrelevant. So so thanks for your time. My name is Trace. I love the Rotary. What you guys do is fantastic. Thanks for having me here. I appreciate it so much. Thanks, Trevor, for getting me here. I appreciate that. And I record and sell custom songs. So if anybody is looking for anything like that for business or for anniversaries, birthdays, whatever, I'm a songwriter. And if anybody wants to get a hold of me for anything, I forgot my box of cards, of course, the one thing I had to put on all the tables. So if anybody wants to get a hold of me, come talk to me. I'll get you some information. It'll be up on the screen, and Trevor can certainly find me if you need to talk to him later. So, okay. Hey, thank you so much.
And Trace, thank you so much. I'd like to make a presentation to you. Here's a certificate to thank you for your attendance here and entertaining us so wonderfully.
Well, thank you.
And then more importantly, a glass with for your favorite beverage
Will come in handy.
to remember us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a wonderful, entertaining, and fun meeting today. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to look at the events on your table and in the newsletter. And then next week, we have Keith Bailey. His title talk is, "Do you have a rice cooker?" Which sounds very intriguing. And I know that Trevor's been bringing some very gifted storytellers to our meetings lately. And so I think this promises to be another very fun, interesting speaker. So I hope you'll come. Don't forget to get your reservations in by Monday at 5 o'clock. And I look forward to seeing everyone again next week. And thank you so much. Meeting is adjourned.